Welcome back to Bleacher Talk. I'm Jordan Spurgeon alongside Claudia Collins, and football's back. Last week, so much great prep football on the scene all across Arizona and truthfully all along the West Coast. We had games all over, and Arizona, by the way, 9-4 against teams from out of state, whether they played here or somewhere else. So really good week for the state of Arizona at the prep football level, Claudia. And I know you're looking forward to getting right into it after having your weekend to kind of get away, and now you're officially ready for the season.
Yeah, for me, it's like week one, basically. I feel like last year was my wedding. That was a distraction. This year, it was my maid of honor's wedding. That was a distraction. But as we mentioned last week in Quick Picks, that things kind of went downhill for me after my wedding. So I'm hoping like starting off this season with a wedding will be like, okay, I'll have a slow start and make a comeback kind of like you guys did. So that's my hope for this season. But speaking of which, if we're going to get right into Quick Picks, Bruce, you're setting the tone right off the bat. You're going to have to keep this up. You're 3-0. How you feeling?
Hey, thanks. And look, I was a little shocked by some of the things that I saw last weekend, particularly as it relates to as Jordan mentions, some of our out-of-state teams. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, Chandler 63-7. Are you kidding? I mean, it was unbelievable. I was really proud of what we were able to accomplish. I know that Saguaro came up a little short in his big national game as well. But hey, other than that, I just thought it was a great opening week for us as it relates to the prep scene in high school football.
And since we're talking about these out-of-state games, we can kick it off with our first Quick Picks of this week too, which is Hamilton against Bishop Gorman, which if you guys remember, hard to forget that game last season. I keep saying it, it's going to go down in Arizona high school football history just as being one of those edge of your seat games, final 2 minutes, just totally turning things around. Spurge, I will let you kick it off. Is Hamilton going to get the W again against this Las Vegas team?
I got to go first here. Every time I write down games, I kind of put a square around the team that I am picking. And I didn't put one around either team yet because I have been going back and forth in my head. But listen, I mean, Hamilton last year, the craziness at the end with Nico Marchiel bringing his team in, rushing it in to win the game. One of the craziest things ever in high school football. Bishop Gorman this year, though, they're going to be looking for revenge. They're 2-1. Their only loss comes to Mater Dei, who is always a top 5 program, top 10 program nationally. It was a 24-21 game. So they hung in the game with Mater Dei. They also have an Arizona connection as well. Jeremiah Vessel, who played at Basha last year, is now at Bishop Gorman. And, you know, he understands sort of that Hamilton rivalry, quote unquote. It's not necessarily a rivalry between these two, although these 2 years it is.
It's over now.
it's pretty much right there, especially with how good it was last year. I really like what Hamilton's built. I was really impressed with them against Pinnacle at their scrimmage this year. I do think Bishop Gorman, though, they're going to want revenge. I think it's going to be a really tight game, and they'll come out and win like 30-21-24.
I'll go ahead and make my pick here, Bruce, so you get a few extra minutes to ponder your thoughts. But I mostly have to agree with you, Spurge. I think that this is a big revenge game for Bishop Gorman. Obviously, they got ahead last season and obviously felt like they were going to win it, and then things turned around. So my understanding is that this is like the game that Bishop Gorman has probably circled on their schedule as like, if we win any game, it must be this one, considering last year it was a nationally televised game. And obviously they didn't get the best look in the final few minutes. However, though, I do want to point out a few players at Hamilton that I do think will be a difference maker. Trace Spivey made a huge impact last season. Genesis Smith at the end of last season. These guys are seniors now. Although we haven't seen Rock Chalosky in a few years, since obviously we had Nico Marchiel last season. These are all well-established players. And considering that even Rock Chalosky was the backup QB and still talented as he is, would have started at pretty much any other school, I think there's a lot of talent at Hamilton. However, I do agree. I think it's going to be Bishop Gorman 65-47.
Ooh.
Bruce.
High scoring.
I think it's going to be high scoring. I do think it's going to be high scoring.
We're talking basketball here, or are we talking football? Wow, that is pretty high scoring. But you might be. I think both you and Jordan are spot on. I mean, this is really, really a revenge game. You know, look, what Hamilton scored, 900 points in the final minute? No, just exaggerated. But I mean, 18 unanswered points in the final minutes to win, 25-24, a comeback for the ages. But I'll tell you this, Claudia hit on a couple names there. Yeah, Trey Spivey, son of Junior Spivey, the great Diamondback baseball player there, and Genesis Smith. I just saw that he just committed to U of A. But the name I want to talk about is Rock Chalosky. You know, this guy is a prolific baseball player as well. So he was playing off in tournaments all summer long. And so for him to be able to step on the football field as late as he did, join him in camp and win the #1 quarterback job, I don't think it's to disparage any of the other quarterbacks on the roster, but I think it speaks to volumes to what type of athlete we're talking about in Chalosky. But having said that, I mean, I just can't go against what you guys have said. I really, truly believe, just like Claudia said, that Bishop Gorman has this circle. They've had this game circled. I guarantee you it's a tough. And yes, they want to win 100-0. I mean, they want, so that high scoring game that Claudia talked about. Yeah, they would love nothing more than to run it up on Hamilton. But Hamilton certainly has some very, very talented athletes. And I'm just so proud of what our high school teams did out of state last week. But Bishop Gorman, I was just checking. I mean, they're nationally ranked number 11. And I think there's just too much revenge. So I'm going to make it 3 for 3. I'm going to go Bishop Gorman. And yeah, I'm going kind of high, 38-31.
So mark it now. Hamilton's going to prove us all wrong.
I hope they do.
They do.
The next game that we're picking is Perry against Desert Vista. I'll kick this one off. Two teams, both with new coaches. Perry has had a rough go at it the last few seasons, but I do think that Joseph Ortiz could be the answer that they have been looking for quite a while, to be honest. And then on the other hand, Desert Vista has had a lot of coach turnover. If you think about it, these seniors have played for 3 different coaches, which maybe there's something that could be said for that. You know, maybe it's having a diverse array of what you can learn from 3 different coaches. I do think there's something to be said to that. However, there's also something to be said about consistency and the way that the team operates. And that's the thing that does kind of scare me about the Thunder this season. Desert Vista just lost their first game in San Diego. Perry kind of same. I really feel like you could go either way here, but I do think that Coach Ortiz came in with a mission. The players knew what to expect. Whereas Desert Vista's kind of been thrown through the ringer, to be quite honest, despite having a really good, you know, they were actually above 500 last season. That's big for Desert Vista after coming off a season where they didn't win any games. But I do think just as far as consistency goes, I want to go with Perry in this game. We'll go lower scoring, 21-10. Spurge, I'll let you kick it. Oh, well, actually, Bruce, you look ready to go. Let's go with Bruce.
Okay, well, look. They both played teams from out of state last week in their openers. Desert Vista was at Madison and San Diego, and Perry took on Spring Valley of Nevada. Now, I don't really have too much knowledge of either Madison and San Diego or Spring Valley in Nevada. So what I'm left with is just to kind of gauge the score. I mean, the score tells me a lot here. 35-0. Desert Vista loses. So that lets me know that Nate Gill and company, they still have some things that they need to work out. Whereas Perry, 19-14 win over Spring Valley, it wasn't like they blew the doors off, but it looks like, at least from an offensive standpoint, they have a better handle on what they're doing. Again, and it could be that Madison is just that much better. I don't know, but I'm going to use that unscientific formula of the previous scores last week. So yes, I'm going to take Perry. Coach Ortiz and his Pumas. Let me go 24-17.
Similar. All right, Spurs, here's your chance to maybe get an edge here if you want.
Yeah, I mean, obviously both programs coming in with a new culture. Joseph Ortiz coming into Perry and really kind of, you can tell, is bringing energy back into a program that was really lacking at the last couple of years. The two big playmakers for them are just two of the top guys in the state at their positions. Aiden Herring on the edge is arguably a top 10, top 15 player in the state, not just his position, but overall as a player. He is getting after it. And then Jack Amer, their quarterback, he's legit. He can make all the throws. He has receivers that he can trust and find. And I just think that this team is built so foundationally strong in Ortiz's system that I just think it's going to be a little too much for Desert Vista to overcome. I think Desert Vista is going to take another week or two to get that first win, because I do think Perry's going to win this one. I'm going to say it's probably 27-17.
So far, a pretty unexciting quick picks. We're all in agreement. We'll have to see what happens with this last matchup, Brophy against Centennial. Bruce, I'll let you take this one first.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, Brophy looked extraordinarily good, particularly on the defensive side in the first half against Sandra Day O'Connor. I know it was 10-0. I think a lot of us saw Chris Peterson's mic'd up segment with Coach Jason Jewell. It was just phenomenal. There was no way they're going to lose that game, right? But they did. They didn't have the same in the second half, and they allowed 24 unanswered by Sandra Day O'Connor. Meantime, Centennial's playing a very, very, very talented team in Hamilton. Yes, they lose 38-14, but Centennial, they have athletes. I mean, Richard Taylor is one of the top coaches in the state. He's been that way for a long time. I have to go with the Coyotes, and I don't think it'll be particularly a close game. I like a 2-touchdown advantage for the Coyotes. So let me go Coyotes 41, Brophy 27.
All right, Spurge, you look like you had some thoughts on that. What you got?
Yeah, no, I think this is where Quick Picks gets interesting. I really do believe that Centennial, especially with just seeing the growth of the West Side and other programs, they're ready to bounce back and become one of the premier West Side teams again, to match with the Liberties and schools over there, Desert Edge, all of them. But I've been out to Brophy too, and I've seen the talent on this team. And I do believe that Jason Jewell is going to use that 10-0 blown lead with 24 unanswered as a learning lesson for this program. And I think they're going to come back out swinging. I think they get out to an early lead and they're going to learn from their previous mistake and find a way to hold on. I do think Brophy's going to win this one 27-21 over Centennial. It will be a close game, but I just think they have a little bit more talent, especially on the offensive side. Leighton Duncan comes to mind for me on Brophy. So I'm going to give them the edge.
You guys have me torn here because this was the game that I hadn't yet decided what I wanted to do. And to be honest, I still haven't decided. So we'll see what happens here. The Brophy game score did surprise me. I'm not going to lie. Sandra Day O'Connor is one of those teams that we really didn't talk about much last season because we didn't see too much out of them. So to see Brophy fall to Sandra Day O'Connor was surprising coming off of a busy wedding weekend. And that was one of those scores that I was looking for. And I thought, did I see that right? Because Spurge, yes, we've gone out to Brophy quite a bit. We know what they're about out there. They've got plenty of prospects. If we're talking on the recruiting side of things, I expected more out of Brophy in that first game. And Centennial also surprised me. Hamilton being one of the top 3-4 teams always in the state of Arizona surprised me that Centennial actually did give them a bit of a run for their money. It wasn't a total shutout, which I think maybe going into it, we didn't know what to expect out of Centennial this season. But I think it's that loss that Brophy had to open the season that was the bigger surprise for me. And I think because of that, I'm also going to have to agree with Bruce here, Centennial winning this game against Brophy. I think low scoring, so I'm going to go 21-14. Yeah, well, that was tough. We got
a disagreement in here, so now we can see the standings shake up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm okay with a slow start, like I said, but plenty of exciting games coming up this week. And then coming up on the rest of Bleacher Talk, we're out at Mountain Pointe High School getting a taste of what this new era of Pride football looks like. So stick with us.
Welcome back to Bleacher Talk. I'm Jordan Spurgeon with Claudia Collins, and we're here at Mountain Pointe High School as they get set for their game in Vegas for the Polynesian Classic this week. It's a lot of fun at practice, bright and early this morning.
Yeah, bright and early. I know that Coach Lauer likes to have a 6 a.m. practice because he wants it to set the tone for your day. How do you feel about these early practices?
I'm actually loving them. I just get to get everything over with. I'm actually an early person, so I like waking up early too. And then the whole day, I just feel like I'm chilling, don't got nothing to worry about for the rest of the day.
And you get to beat the heat.
Yep, no heat.
Are you the same way, Jalen? Are you a morning person? Or do you have to learn?
Nah, I'd rather have it in the afternoon. Get used to the heat and everything. I don't like morning practices, but we here, so.
Was it a battle with Coach when he was first saying that? You just, I'm here for it.
Yeah, he was like, he said it last year. He was like, so we're going to start having early morning practices. And I'm thinking early morning like, oh, we just got first period. Nah, it's way before school starts. We up early. I'm up at like 4. Yeah, it's crazy.
Are you having to set like multiple alarms to get up?
Yes, I have an alarm that goes 4:25, 4:30, 4:45, and then 5 is the last alarm.
Jalen said not much of a morning person. It kind of took him a bit to get used to it. So how do you help them just kind of set the tone and get used to these morning practices?
Yeah, we try to create more of a college atmosphere because everybody raises their hand and say they want to play college football. And also, how could we steal more hours, right? There's only 24 hours in the day, but we felt like if we could knock it out in the morning, then we could watch film, clean things up in the afternoon, get our lift in, and they still be home at a decent hour. We do have a lot of students that are outside of our boundary, so to get them home at a decent hour, I think to recover, it's been beneficial to us all.
And you tell them too, like usually the best way to get up early, or one of your tips is to just have one alarm and just get up?
One alarm, and do not push snooze. Do not push snooze.
Jalen might need a talking to. He said he's got one at like 4:10, 4:30.
Yeah.
What's the message there?
Yeah, you only need one alarm. The first one that went off was accurate, right? And I just think when you push snooze, it sets you back for the day. So we've had some guys laid and battle with our issues there, trying to acclimate to the change, but it's been positive. And even the guys like Jalen who say, I'm not a morning person, they appreciate getting up and knocking it out.
You know, we're on the practice fields today, but you've got a new field that'll be ready for your next home game. How do you guys feel about this new implementation?
I'm real excited. We've been watching the whole process of the field, of them building the whole thing, and seeing the final stuff is just looking real good, and it's making the whole team feel excited to play on it finally.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool how it was just dirt, and then out of nowhere they started putting the grass down, and we came back and it was like, oh, the field, almost getting done. So it's really cool. I'm excited for it.
New field coming in, new weight room. Is this a new era for Mountain Pointe football?
It is. That's our goal. The main thing is walking that out, though. Our boys brought it up. The senior class talked about a new era. We want to make changes. We want to be viewed by our fans and our community differently. And that takes some hard work. But definitely some of the aesthetics and things around campus are changing.
Who's going to be breaking in the weight room with the most amount of weight being pushed, like day one?
Me.
Do you agree?
Yeah, most likely.
So you're out here. You're pretty much the workout warrior then in weight room. Huh?
Yeah. In the weight room, yes, I am. The workout warrior.
As long as it's not 6 in the morning, it sounds like.
Yeah, 6 in the morning, man. Can't do it. But we be having Saturday practices after the game, and we have to be here at like 8. Yeah, even then that's early, but we here.
Well, they're here, they're practicing and getting ready for the Polynesian Football Classic coming up this weekend. What does that game mean to you as a team and being able to get out of state and out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, we initially had it scheduled during the COVID year, and that was canceled, and luckily they considered us to bring us back, so we're definitely privileged to go away out of state. It's a team building kind of atmosphere for us as well. How will your team travel? That's a big deal, and then definitely trying to put the best product out on the field there in Las Vegas.
Are you tuned in to some of the Arizona versus everybody I see on Twitter? I think last week it was 9-4 against other states. Are you tuned into that at all?
Not too much. We try to focus on us, but definitely, as more and more schools continue to go out of state and represent the state of Arizona, that's huge. And we wish everybody well. We will go see Hamilton and the Gorman game Friday night and support them. I think that's a big deal that we all leave or out-of-state teams come here.
Again, it means a lot. The whole team is getting excited for this. We've been preparing for it and just getting after it every day. And we're trying to not take it for granted that we're going out to Vegas and take it as a business trip.
Have you guys been seeing all the Arizona versus everybody? I think last week it was 9-4 against Vegas and other states in Cali. So you guys want to keep that rolling?
Oh, yeah, Arizona better. Arizona better. I'm gonna keep saying that. I seen that. I think Zach or it was Chili. It was somebody. But I definitely seen Arizona. We was winning most games, and
Yeah.
I like to see that. I like to see it.
Yeah, I was out in San Diego, and I've heard rumblings in Vegas too. And a lot of states they sleep on Arizona a little bit, but you guys are out there kind of proving them wrong, huh?
Yes, sir. They sure do sleep on us. They need to wake up.
All right, if they need to wake up, what would you say about Mountain Pointe football that everyone needs to know? What do you guys bring to the table this year that maybe you haven't in years past?
Effort. We bring a lot of effort, and you're going to see a show every Friday night no matter what. That's guaranteed.
I think we bring power and speed. Like, that's our whole team. We're going to punch you in the mouth, and then we're going to up the score on you. So.
Welcome back to Bleacher Talk. We've got our social spotlight segment. Eliab is not with us this week. He's out like vacationing or something. Kind of took a page from my notebook last week, I guess, being out of town. But Spurge and I have got it covered, and I'll just kick us right off because I was so excited to see this news. I was sitting down for dinner at my best friend's wedding when I saw the news that Amari Washington had made his commitment to the Oregon Ducks. And Zach Elvira kind of broke the news on Twitter. I guess he just after the game. Spurge, is that you in the video that I see there?
Yeah.
That was
that was a really cool moment after the game. Coach Garrettson grinning ear to ear, I think, after they just put it down on Cathedral Catholic 63-7 and then got the team together and was like, hey, we have a big announcement. And Zach at that point was already trying to interview Amari. Like he was kind of like that. Like, I want to talk to you, Amari. Amari's like, hold on, I got to take something off. I'm like, okay, I guess he wants to take his pads off. And all of a sudden everyone's watching him. He rips the pads off, doesn't rip them off. He actually is kind of slow.
They're still intact. They're still intact.
Off, but he's got broad shoulders. It's hard to get him off. And then boom, there's the Oregon shirt. And everyone attacked him. And it was really, really cool to see that in San Diego.
Yeah, that looked like a really fun way to announce your commitment. Definitely the first of that version that I've seen. But man, the Oregon Ducks recruitment in Arizona, there needs to be a direct flight to Eugene like 5 times a day because there's going to be all sorts of Arizona high school football parents going out to games over the next couple of years with the number of Ducks commits we've got there. But Spurge, we've got another social spotlight. What do we have?
Sunny Slope High School. They got a brand new football field, and on the opening kickoff, touchdown, 94 yards taken back by the Sunny Slope Vikings. Literally, like Andy Page says, the broadcast voice for them in that game, you can't make this up. Brand new field, 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to open it. That's remarkable.
I would say it's a storybook ending, but it's, still early in the season for them. So they're just writing the new chapters at their new football field. But our last social spotlight is from Arizona College Prep Football. A couple of guys out on the sidelines at ASU getting the invite to just kind of get a taste of what Sun Devil football looks like. We love seeing our Arizona guys maybe exploring staying in state or just getting a taste of what our Arizona schools have to offer.
Yeah, always really cool to see that ACP. They're building a really cool program over there, and I really like everything that they stand for. So best of luck to those guys and their recruitment, and hopefully they liked a little bit at least what they saw, at least enjoyed the experience being in Tempe when ASU took on NAU in that game.
For sure. And keep in mind, anyone watching, if you want to be on our social spotlight, just hashtag Bleacher Talk. We want to feature you guys, all sorts of interesting and fun things that we find on Twitter, but we would love to see you guys tag us so we can get, the first look and include you guys on our social spotlight.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Talk today. A lot of fun with Bruce Cooper and quick picks. As always, we'll see if he stays in first place. He's undefeated at 3-0. Or if one of us takes the reins.
Come back.
And of course, Mountain Pointe. So much fun being out there at bright and early, 6 a.m. practice with Mountain Pointe and now our social spotlight. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week on Bleacher Talk.